We are doing the first 10,000 miles with the 2026 Model Y Juniper Premium all-wheel drive. I've been collecting some data on the first 10,000 miles. We're going to go over some of that stuff. We're also going to be comparing it with other EVs that I've owned just to play with some numbers and some updates towards the end of the video. First thing I want to let you know is the data that I'm sharing, like, this is not scientific. It never is. But I do like to share some of the data. Basically, the traffic conditions, the weather, the road conditions, my mood, they're all different during the times that I've logged these trips. Now, I did not log every day, just when I remembered to reset the trip computer. So it's not consistent. I also drove the car like how I normally drive. I'm not gonna like try to focus on just the most efficient driving possibilities and all that. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna drive it like normal so that I can show you what kind of numbers I'm getting, because I'm sure many of you out there are not gonna be driving it just to get those EPA numbers. Again, those EPA numbers, they're just like estimates, and in perfect conditions, they probably didn't even use the air conditioning there. They probably were in an isolated place, like, just to get those numbers. They make those numbers look good, and they do look good, but in normal conditions, I really don't think you're gonna be getting those numbers. You gotta give it about a 5 to 10% difference. I have been driving with FSD on. So since 14.2, I have driven it 70% of the time. If you look at the numbers I'm going to share with you, self-driving miles is 2,953.5 self-driving miles, and then the total miles is 4,237.2. As you notice, it's not 10,000 because that is it. This thing tracks it since I installed version 14.2 FSD. I want to do an FSD video in the future where I want to discuss things like when I use FSD and when I don't. Because I'm seeing like these posts like, oh, I love FSD, I drive it 100% of the time. And I'm like, bro, are you driving this up and down the same street? Like, I don't know how you're doing it at 100%. Like, do you live on the highway? You park your car along the highway and then you just drive, 1,000 miles one way and 1,000 miles back and say you've used it 100% of the time? Because to be honest with y'all, I cannot use FSD 100% of the time. Just where I live, the roads that I drive on, the streets, the highways, the type of highways, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I could understand 90%, but I've seen photos that are like, 100% and they've driven 4, 5, 6,000 miles. Maybe they're driving cross country, and there's just mostly highways. But yeah, FSD, I don't know. I can't drive it 100% of the time. And I want to do a video just to share with you some of the things that I found where it's just not feasible to use FSD. About the data, I only got 2 log entries for the OEM 19-inch cross-flow wheels with the OEM covers. This is how you get it from Tesla. Because I immediately put on the Halo disc like right away. So unfortunately, I could only log 2 entries. Now, I do have 27 log entries with the cross-flow wheels, the 19-inch cross-flow wheels, and the Halo disc with road trips. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk there because I somewhat separated those road trips where I wanted to keep the data consistent as far as this is the logs that I've taken when I go on my commute, because the Model Y is my daily commuter. This is what I drive, I would say 98% of the time going to and from work. This is my daily workhorse and everything. So I'm trying to keep that data consistent as far as just conditions. Now, there's times I drive more and there's times, again, weather's different, traffic conditions different. So I'm trying to just keep it as consistent as possible. So I did separate one without road trips, and there are two road trips in particular that I did not count. The first road trip is the Bates Nut Farm trip. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But I drove 186.9 miles, 44 kilowatt hours of energy used, and 235.6 watt hour per mile. The efficiency is fairly similar to what I get on a daily basis, but the reason why I'm not including it is because the route going to the Bates Nut Farm is not the same like route that I would take when I go to work. It's a lot of uphills and downhills because it's in San Diego County. The other trip I'm not counting is the SEMA Vegas trip. And if you haven't seen that video, please check it out. But on that road trip, I did 441.3 miles, 127.5 kilowatt hours of energy used, and 288.9 watt hour per mile. And it's obvious that I'm not going to include it because the distance I drove is just way greater than what I normally drive, and also that efficiency is not a good picture of what I normally get, because going to Vegas, again, if you watched my Vegas road trip videos, it's a lot of uphills and downhills, a lot of wind. Also, wind will affect your efficiency, so I didn't count that. Now there was, I guess, a road trip that I did include, which was I went to Santa Clarita with a friend of mine, Irvin, where he picked up his Model X Plaid. If you haven't seen that video, go check that one out. Now, I drove 191.9 miles, 42.1 kilowatt hour energy used, and 219.3 watt hour per mile. And so the reason why I'm keeping that data there, even though the miles I've driven is unusually higher than what I normally drive, is because the route is fairly similar to what I drive to and from work. So I'm just gonna keep it in there. All right, editor Sherwin here, and as I'm editing, I forgot to mention one thing, and I did not include the Bakersfield trip. That is 309.1 miles driven, 76.6 kilowatt hours of energy used, and 247.6 watt hour per mile. I didn't include this because it's not the usual trip. The distance is far beyond what I would normally drive, even on days that I'm very busy, and the route, lots of uphills and downhills as well. So I want to insert that in there, and it's really a total of 25 log entries. All right, so one log entry without any covers with the OEM 19-inch cross flows. This is the day that I got the tire patch after Abby ran over a screw. And so I left it in the garage, went on a road trip, came back, and then that's when I put on the RVRN wheels. So that's why I only got one log entry there. 23 log entries with the RVRN wheels and Falcon tires. So for the most part, we're just comparing between OEM 19-inch wheels, crossflow with halo disc covers versus RVRN wheels with the Falcon tires. Here's the data. So I really wish I had more log entries with the crossflow and the covers. I mean, 2 versus 26 log entries, it's not a fair comparison. It's not a good comparison. But if we must look at it, the difference is about 1.84%. So with the OEM setup with the covers, I logged at 217.9 watt hour per mile. 2 log entries versus 26. If I imagine that I did more entries with the stock setup, I don't think it's gonna go beyond 5% difference as far as advantage going to halo disc. But I think there's still an advantage going with the halo disc versus the stock wheel covers with the stock wheels. From my experience, your data may be different than mine because again, we drive differently, but from what I've gathered, I think it's still going to be under 5%. Is it worth spending the money to get the halo disc for your setup? For me, yes, because not only does it give me a slight improvement in the efficiency, but in my area, there's just way too many white Tesla Model Y with mud flaps And so I got the Halo disc cover just so that it looks different. So when I go look for my car, I can find it immediately. Now I am starting to see a lot more people with Halo disc covers in my area. Full disclosure, they did send me out a set for free to do a video on, and that's why I'm giving you all these numbers. Now this video is not sponsored by them, but they have sponsored videos in the past. Now comparing RVRN wheels versus the Halo disc, the efficiency difference is 17.31% better efficiency in favor of the OEM 19-inch crossflows with Halo disc. So the data comparison, efficiency at 213.89 watt hour per mile versus RVRNs, I've driven it 3,118.3 miles at 250.92 watt hour per mile. So some things to consider. The stock wheels are 19-inch versus the RVRN at 20 inches. So 19-inch versus 20-inch. The crossflow wheel, when I Googled it, weighs 29.4 pounds or 13.3 kilograms without tires, 19 by 9.5 in size. And the RVRNs that I have, the MB373, it's a monoblock forge. It's about 19 to 23 pounds per wheel without tire, or 8.6 kilograms to 10.4 kilograms with the size of 20 by 9.5. Tire difference is just diameter, 19 versus 20 once again, but the tire size is 255 40 19 and 255 40 20. So wheel covers do make a huge difference regardless of tire weight. So what do you think about those findings? Let me know. For me, losing 17.31% in efficiency with the RVRNs is worth it, just because, man, I love how they look. It's worth it for me. Is it worth it for you going aftermarket? I don't know. Let me know what you would do in the comments below. Stay stock wheels with covers or go with aftermarket wheels. All right, so here's a snapshot of almost every 1,000 miles driven. I'll put it up on the screen. But basically, I got the car with about 3 miles on the odometer, and I hit my first 1,000, or 1,055 to be exact, 8 days later, and I drove 1,052 miles with a daily average of 131.5 miles. The next milestone is 2,000. Which took 22 days, and I drove 947, average of 43 miles or so. But you could just look at the little graph or chart that I'm going to show on the screen. But yeah, so I've just tried to take note every 1,000. I didn't get it exact, but I hit the 10,000 mark, or 10,101, March 3rd, 2026. I also display the snapshot of what the efficiency and energy use every time I noted, like every 1,000 miles. Again, I didn't get it to an exact 1,000 miles. It's just whenever I catch it. So apologies on that. There's just a lot of stuff going on, but I do want to share what those snapshots look like. Mileage on some of the data in the table may be off by 3 or 4 miles because, again, I didn't take delivery with 0 miles on the odometer. So it's the odometer versus like my lifetime trip B data. But other data points I wanted to share with you all is the lowest average energy is 191.6 watt hour per mile, which occurred October 23rd, 2025. I don't remember what I was doing. You know what? I do remember. This was a very horrible day of traffic. So the worse traffic is, the worse my mood is, but also the better the efficiency is. So I hit 191.6 watt hour per mile. I was able to get a Model Y under 200, which this can be done in the Model 3. I've done it in my previous Model 3 multiple times, but again, traffic is just usually horrible those days. Highest average energy, 334.6 watt hour per mile, which was December 6, 2025. I believe that is a Vegas trip. The shortest distance that I've driven when I'm tracking the data is 91.5 miles, and the longest distance is 441.3 miles. Now remember, I'm not tracking every day. This is just off of the data that I've actually noted. All right, we're gonna be comparing with other vehicles. I wish, man, I'm really bummed. Every time I look for these data, I'm really bummed. I wish I gotten numbers before selling the Model Y 7-seater, Abby's previous Model Y. And I wish I'm able to find the data on the Model 3 long range before I traded it in for the Model Y performance. Man, I'm really bummed. I didn't do that much YouTube back then, so I wasn't really tracking all this data. So 2022 Model X long range before it was bought back, when we surrendered it at 14,143 miles driven, 4,652 kilowatt hours of use, and the average efficiency is 329 watt hour per mile. The Model X Plaid, before we surrendered it, we drove it 15,419 miles. I didn't drive it in Plaid mode all the time though, so that's interesting. Model Y Performance 2022, before trading it in for the Juniper, I drove it 49,687 miles, 13,861 kilowatt hours of energy used, and 279 watt hour per mile average efficiency. So that one is a little bit more worse than the long range because of it was fun to drive. And also that Model Y Performance had a similar setup with the wheels and tires, but I just had a 35 aspect ratio instead of 40 aspect ratio. And there's also a portion of those miles using the 21-inch Uber turbine wheels. So I have the spreadsheet link in the video description below if you want to check it out further. You can highlight the cells to get the formulas I use. Do let me know if I have any issues with my calculations. Again, this is based on my driving. It's not scientific. This is not a guarantee that this is the numbers that you're gonna get. But if you're wondering, like, why do I do this? Well, I have several reasons why I do these videos and why do I collect the data. For one, comment from like Rufus T. Boone, where he commented on my Cybertruck commute video. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. But he pretty much shared that he used to drive an Escalade that gotten 14 to 17 miles per gallon. That's actually pretty good for an Escalade. I could have sworn that was like 10 to 12 miles per gallon. But now he saves $400 a month switching to an EV. I'm not sure if he switched to a Cybertruck. He didn't mention it in the comment, but he commented on a Cybertruck video, so I assumed that's how much he's saving when he compares it to his Cybertruck. $400 in savings a month. So it's stuff like that where I share information with you and at the same time y'all share information with me. It's like it's real information. It's not like EPA estimate, blah, blah, blah. No, these numbers are real numbers from real owners. And again, it's not to say that you're gonna get those numbers, but it's fun to compare. It's fun to share. And $400, you know what I could do with $400 a month in savings? Man, nah, I can't share that with you. So things like that just encourages me to do these videos, gather the data, share with you all what I'm doing. But many people believe that EVs do not save money. Most people don't believe me when I tell them I save money. I didn't believe. So I track it. As you can see from my logs, I drive a lot. I've done these commutes for many years. I used to own a gas car, so I know the difference and the experience between owning a gas car and owning many EVs. So I've driven this commute with a V6 Acura TL, and I've driven this commute with a couple Toyota Priuses. So I'm seeing the savings every time I move up. It's usually 50% savings. I cut my expense in half from switching from a V6 to a hybrid to electric. Like every time I switch, I'm tracking it. I have spreadsheets. So would I ever go back to gas? You know what I would drive? Man, a Porsche GT3 RS. Heck yeah, I'll go back to gas. But here's the thing, I'm not gonna daily drive that car. I'll go back to gas, but it's one of those things that I'll rarely drive. For my daily use, man, I'm sticking with an EV because of our use case. It's just the best option for us. And that's also because we used to drive gas. We track expenses. So Annette was actually surprised. She commented on my previous video and she was surprised, like, dang, you got 10,000 miles on the Juniper. I'm like, yeah, I drive a lot. That's why I have to drive an EV. I can easily hit 100,000 miles in just over 4 years. Most car loans go beyond that. So I feel that I'm getting my money's worth on every car. Cars are generally not an investment, especially EVs. Horrible depreciation. In my opinion, the best way to fight depreciation on any car, gas or EV, drive that car as much as possible, as much as you can before you let it go. Enjoy it. Drive that thing. You know, that's how you can fight depreciation, because you've enjoyed it, you've used it. So who cares how much it costs? You've gotten your money's worth. That's what we do with our cars, except for the Model X. They keep getting bought back. I wish we could have driven that thing 100,000 miles. I mean, there is an exception. If you lease, I mean, you're not going to be able to drive it as much as you can, but you can enjoy it, and you don't really get that depreciation hit because you give it up after a few years. So do you agree with what I'm saying? I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. I drive an EV to save money. Yes, I save money even though EVs are more expensive. And I take advantage of those savings. I do hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If it was helpful, do share it and capture your own data and let's compare. Let me know what you find out. Also in this channel, we've owned 3 Model Ys. Model Y, I tell you, one of my favorite Teslas next to the Model 3. The Model X was also great, but unfortunately we just had very bad experience. The Cybertruck is also a great vehicle from Tesla, a lot of utility, but if you ask me, for practicality, for daily use, you cannot beat a Model Y. You cannot beat a Model 3. You just can't. I also have reviews on the previous Model Y Performance, a 2022. I have a 10,000 mile review that you could go check out. I have a 1-year review that you could check out, and a 30,000 review that you could also check out. So I'm documenting my ownership with the Model Y Performance. I really wish I did more content, actually any content on that 7-seater. If you were to ask me, I would choose the Model Y over the Model 3 just because it's easier for me to get in and out. I've mentioned it in previous videos. I have sciatica, so when that thing acts up, oh my goodness. Woo. Model 3 is fun also, but you cannot go wrong with either the Model 3 or the Model Y. It's the most practical vehicle that Tesla sells. Very affordable for what you can get. And if you're buying your first Tesla, do consider using my referral code. I've been getting the website updated. If you are not aware, I do have a sherwinm.com that's been existing for quite some time, but I'm repurposing it to coincide with the YouTube channel. There's a calendar there for events, and also to help you guys, if you're not getting any notifications, I don't know what YouTube's doing, but always check the sherwinm.com website. I got a lot of stuff there. There's a mailing list there also, so if you want me to send stuff in your inbox, do sign up for that. And there are some blog posts I'm starting to do that doesn't have a video version because I just want to do like real quick things. There's also a section where I list all of the partners on this channel, all of the sponsored content, because some of you do reach out and ask like, hey, I'm planning to buy this. Do you have a coupon code? And so I would have to like go through my videos. And so I'm like, I need a centralized place. So that website will have all that information for you. It's always being up to date. So some of the information may not be all there, but please be patient with me. There is a page for all the partners and stuff there with the coupon codes, as well as links to videos that I've done reviews on. Many of those links are referral links, so it does help support the channel. Do look at that section as well if you are planning on getting accessories. I do have videos and I do have coupon codes with many of the companies that I've worked with in the past. So as you know, I try to be as transparent as possible with not only my EV ownership, but I do want to start sharing my content creation process and experiences. It's not easy, but I do enjoy doing it. So if you want to follow me on that journey, or if you're curious, I want to start doing that stuff. A lot more behind the scenes. It won't be on this channel. It'll be on another channel, Smarten Up Creations. That is my company. I do have a website on that as well. I'll have all that information in the video description below. I also have a travel channel. If y'all don't know, I do have a travel channel because I like to travel. Now, it doesn't have the road trip videos there because that stays on this channel, but on those occasions where I don't bring my EV, then those go in the travel channel and I have stuff there. That one, I'm really behind. I'm like 2 years behind, but hopefully I can bring those videos to you. But I do already have videos there if you guys want to go and check it out. And speaking of traveling, we're going to be taking a spring break. So more on that later, or you'll just see it if you follow me on the social platforms or you subscribe to that travel channel. Thank you for watching. I know most of you are here for Tesla content, but I did a Rivian video recently where I did a demo drive with a Rivian automation engineer. If you haven't checked out that video, please check it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.